Good morning and welcome to We Are Soccer, the show that talks about pro soccer, youth soccer, and everything in between. I'm your host, Craig Hearn. All right, as usual, huge show to get to here. Lots of stuff, lots of soccer. It just doesn't stop. I had someone the other day tell me, hey, it's the summer. There's no real soccer going on, right? Are you kidding me? Not only have the Euros started, we had the Nations League Cup last Sunday, and then we got the Olympics starting in 2 weeks. Soccer never stops. And then don't forget, we've got transfer rumors, coaching changes. It never stops, friends. All right, so what do we have on today's show specifically? Well, we're going to talk about the Euros and how they started yesterday with Italy versus Turkey. And then 3 games today, 3 games tomorrow. We've got USA Soccer with a big win over Mexico from Sunday. Transfer rumors, coaching changes, who's going where, and what's happened. And we interview a U.S. women's national team player. You heard that right. A senior level U.S. women's national team player sat down with us this past week to discuss where she's playing currently, future goals, and how she's training and preparing for the upcoming season. So be sure to stick around for that. We'll show a clip later from the interview. Lots of fun. As I said, on tap today, just a boatload of soccer. Let's jump in, shall we? Big thank you to our friends at Detroit City, Michigan Jaguars, Tim Merritt with Rouse Mortgage, Superior Family Dental, and Aaron and the Next Level Training Group. Lots from Aaron and Next Level Training this week. He was kind enough to invite me out to some additional training, and yeah, you'll get to see that in a little bit as well. Lots of fun. All right, let's do shout-outs, shall we? Adam, our normal producer, who's not here. Today we have Alex in the box. Welcome, Alex. But Adam, congrats, man. You got married last week. Well done. And then a big shout-out to my friend Montel in California. He provided some swag for the Champions League viewing party we did a couple of weeks back. So, Montel, thank you. If you guys are ever looking for a house while in California, Montel's your boy. My friends at Aerolift, thank you again. Another great week in the office. They let me hang out there, have some fun, do some videos, and a lot of other stuff. Also, someone I want to mention, who I don't mention often enough, big shout out to my friend Dan. He is the official videographer of We Are Soccer. All the videos that you get to see are shot by Dan. So, big shout out to Dan. I don't thank him enough for all the hard work he puts in behind the scenes. All right, you ready? The Euros. The Euros are here. They've started. It seemed like forever that we've been waiting for these to start. I love the Euros. Pull the mic closer. Love the Euros. If you don't know, the Euros are played every 4 years. It was supposed to be played Euro 2020, but due to COVID pandemic and everything being pushed back, it's Euro 2021. They didn't want to change the branding, so they left it as Euro 2020. So I'm just calling them the Euros. Let's go with it, shall we? Big game yesterday that happened. Italy versus Turkey. Italy came out on top 3-0. You could say Turkey got stuffed. You get it? No? No? All right, bad joke. All right. So what happened in the game specifically? I felt that Turkey came out not to win the game. They came out to draw. They came out to get that draw. They came out not to win. They wanted to get a point because Italy are the toughest team in their group. They played negative soccer. They got forward, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 times in that first half with the ball. Other than that, 60+% of the time, Italy had the ball. They dominated. They couldn't break they couldn't break Turkey down in that first half, though. They swung the ball around. They held possession. They got it in. The Turkish defense was not to be broken in that first half. And you just felt that the prediction that most of us had made, that this is going to be a very tight and cagey affair for the full 90, was just that's what was going to happen. It was going to be maybe a 1-0 victory or 0-0. And then Italy showed up in that second half. They swung the ball around early in the second half. A Turkish defender took a little bit of a spill. Italy whips the ball in, goes off the chest of a Turkish defender, and it's an own goal for the first goal of the tournament. And right then and there, Turkey put their heads down. They were done for. They were absolutely done. They went to pieces. And normal Italian soccer, the Italian team will go up 1-0, and then they'll park the bus. They'll sit back, and they'll give up possession, and they'll just defend. Credit to Mancini and Italy for yesterday's game, because they didn't sit back. They saw Turkey was on their heels, and they saw that it was time to go at it. And they did. They got that second goal, and eventually the third goal. And what's really hard for me to believe, out of all the Euro tournaments that have been played, this is the first time Italy have ever scored 3 goals in a European tournament game. I was blown away by that stat. Absolutely blown away. Again, I think the demise of Turkey was playing negative soccer, or negative football, as a lot of people say, right? But also the distribution out of the back. The distribution from the goalkeeper and even the central midfielders was just disastrous. It was the downfall of the game. And then once they went down, they had no idea how to change their tactics. It was poor. It was really poor from a Turkish side, who actually have been very good in the last year and during qualifying for the Euros. So that was unfortunate to see. So we're in one game to the Euros. Lots of fun yesterday. We got 3 more games today, 3 more games tomorrow, and then they just keep rolling. The games do not stop. The tournament lasts for a solid month, the final game being played on July 11th. Some of the big questions that I have, and I know a few of the people I've spoken to, can Portugal retain the trophy? Portugal, again, enter the tournament with another really good team. I don't know if you remember, but they won it 5 years ago with an injured Ronaldo. He didn't play as much as they would like. He was injured. Portugal were great. They took that tournament and they won it. And can they retain the trophy? I don't think so, but we will see. Can England handle the pressure? This is one of the best English teams that we've seen in decades. The firepower that this team has, the young players they have, led by Harry Kane, you got Raheem Sterling, you've got Phil Foden, you've got Grealish, Mason Mount. That's just the forwards. And I mean, can England handle the pressure? They might be my team to fold under the pressure. I hope I'm wrong, because I am rooting heavily for England in this tournament. And who's the dark horse going to be? We've seen some dark horses like Belgium 2 World Cups ago, where they came out of nowhere and really made a run. Who's going to be the team that makes a run in this Euros? Is it going to be Russia? Is it going to be Ukraine? Could it be Denmark? Some of these teams are poised to really make a good run because of the young players they have and the way they've been playing. To be honest, it could be Italy yesterday, the way they played. The only problem with Italy is they don't have an out-and-out forward, so they're playing with kind of forward by committee. But who's going to be your dark horse? Who do you guys expect to make that run that haven't been really on the charts, right? Games coming up today, starting at 9 a.m., right after our show here. We have Wales versus Switzerland. Then we have Denmark versus Finland at noon, and Belgium versus Russia at 3 o'clock. As you can see, we've got the groups up. Let's just kind of run through the groups real quick. I know we spent some time last week, and we did a video earlier this week previewing this, but I want to make sure everybody sees the groups and understands how this tournament progresses and works. So Group A, we've got Turkey, Italy, Wales, and Switzerland. That kicked off yesterday with the first game there with Turkey and Italy. Wales and Switzerland play in the second game of that group today, the first game here at 9 a.m. I think out of that group come Italy. Easy now to say, right, now that we see that they have 3 points in the bag. I really do see Switzerland being the runner-up in that group and getting out. So just so everybody's aware, 2 teams out of each group advance, and then there's a third team that can advance depending on goal difference from the rest of the groups. So Group B, we've got Denmark, Finland, Belgium, and Russia. Belgium are suffering with some injuries. De Bruyne suffered a facial injury, facial fractures in the Champions League final when he hit Rudiger from Chelsea. That's a big miss from them. De Bruyne is one of the top players in the world, so Belgium are going to be suffering a little bit. Witsel's also injured, so I still, in that group, I still see them as the favorites, so I see Belgium advancing out of that group. But then you've got Russia, Finland, and Denmark. I mean, all good teams. I don't think Finland gain enough points to advance, so I'm going to mark them off. I think Denmark advance. A very good back line, a very capable goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel from Leicester City there. So Denmark is my choice to advance right there from Group B. Group C, Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia. North Macedonia become the whipping boys of that group. Sorry, North Macedonia. I'm going to put the actual under-over on your goals at 1.5, and I'm going to bet on the under. Austria, a very good team. Ukraine, a very good team. Netherlands, probably the class of that group of Group C. Then you come to Group D, where you got England, Croatia, Scotland, and the Czech Republic. England take on Croatia tomorrow in probably the best game in this group. England, I believe, will advance out of the group, and then I think it's going to be Croatia. Although I hope it's Scotland. I really would like to see Scotland advance. This is their first international tournament since Euro '96, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but we'll double check it. Scotland, they haven't had great teams over the last decade or two, so it'd be nice to see them advance. I'm a big fan of Scotland and some of the players they got there, specifically central midfielder John McGinn, who plays for Aston Villa. Hopefully they advance. And obviously England, as you can tell from my little talking points earlier. I want England to advance. I think it'd be good for the sport here in the USA because most Americans know of the English team and the players on that team, and they follow along, so it'd be good for the sport here. Group E, Spain, Sweden, Poland, and Slovakia. Spain are the class of that group. I think they advance, but Sweden, they could be the dark horse of this tournament. They've got a very good team. And Poland, led by Lewandowski, scored 40 goals in the Bundesliga, 41 goals in the Bundesliga, set that record, the all-time mark, which hadn't been set for 50 years or broken for 50 years. I think Poland probably finished second in this group, with beating out Sweden narrowly, but Sweden do advance to the knockout stages via their third place. As we said, there's several third place groups, teams that go through from the groups. Last group, Hungary, Portugal, who's a favorite, France, who's a favorite, and Germany, who's a favorite. Group of death. So if you guys don't know, every tournament, whether it's World Cup or Euros, there's a group called the Group of Death. This is it. I don't think I've ever seen a Group of Death that is more treacherous than this one. Portugal, as I said, the retaining holders of the trophy, the Euro trophy. They have a really, really good team, led by Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo. We know that. France are so deep. I think they could field a second team in this tournament, and still the second team could win it. All right? They are so good. Benzema, Mbappe, Griezmann, Hugo Lloris. I mean, Olivier Giroud came in a game in a friendly the other day and scored 2 goals. N'Golo Kante, Pogba, and dare I say it, for all you United fans, Pogba plays like crap when he plays for your team, but he steps on the pitch for France and he becomes electric. And you see why he's one of the best players in the world. I don't want to delve too far into this, but he becomes one of the best players in the world because of who's playing next to him. N'Golo Kante. N'Golo Kante is the hardest working player you will ever see on a soccer pitch. This man runs box to box, does the little things, has the skill. He's 5'6". He's all over the place. He does not get enough credit for the work he does because he doesn't clamor for the spotlight. He does not care for the spotlight. He is a down-to-earth guy, and he is very just happy to win and watch his teammates get that spotlight. Hence why Pogba shines around him. N'Golo Kante does all the dirty work. Pogba gets all the fame. Yeah, you know what? And it works. It works because you can't have 11 Pogbas because you'd lose every single game. You need those N'Golo Kante type players. So, group of death. I see France winning that group, Germany finishing second, but Portugal coming out of the group into one of those third place positions. Favorites before the tournament started. Favorites to win the tournament were France, Belgium, England, and Germany. A lot of questions. As I said, we've been waiting an extra year for this tournament, so it's going to be lots of fun. I honestly, I'm going to be watching almost every single game. I don't think there's going to be a bad game in this tournament. Be sure to join in on the We Are Soccer social channels. We will be talking and watching every game. We have posts about the game, great discussions going on, especially in the We Are Soccer Facebook group. One of the great things is we just have lots of posts about these games. We show highlights, we show clips, we show it all. So join in on the socials there. I hope you're as excited for the Euros as I am. As soon as today's show's ended, I am running off and I am going to watch those 3 games. And they're just back to back. They do not stop, guys. What I'd like to do now, if possible, Alex, if you could throw it to our little clip with where we visited Superior Family Dental. And then when we come back, I'm going to bring up a good friend of mine who happens to be in studio today. We're going to talk USA-Mexico Nations League. And then we'll talk about some of the news that came out of that game and progressing forward for the U.S. national team. So we'll see you once you get back, kids. All right, today we're at Superior Family Dental with Dr. Randy and Dr. Jeff and their team. And we're going to have a little fun, play some games. All right, let's go. All right, we're inside Superior Family Dental. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to put the water bottle down. We're going to put the ball down. The doctors and the staff are each going to take a kick to see if they can knock the water bottle over. Let's go. All right, so Dr. Randy and Dr. Jeff, the official team dentists for the Detroit Red Wings. Obviously, we're not hockey, we're soccer, but mouth guards have become a big thing in soccer. Can you guys talk about that for a second?
Yeah, a lot of people don't think you need them for soccer, but they do help prevent obviously tooth trauma. There's also a role with concussions. So we do make custom fitted mouth guards for all sports.
I totally agree, and with soccer players, I feel that they refuse to wear the mouth guards because of speaking, which is real important during the play of the game, but really it's the pressure laminated custom fitted mouth guard is what they need. The importance of it is with the Boylan bites that we've all grown up with is they don't fit appropriately, and they don't fit appropriately for long. Usually after a game or two, it's deformed. With a properly fitted custom mouth guard, it's fitted, most importantly, not just to the front teeth for trauma, but to the back teeth for concussions. So see your dentist, come into Superior Family Dental, ask for a custom fitted mouth guard.
All right, Dr. Randy, Dr. Jeff, thank you for having us at We Are Soccer today. We will see you in 6 months.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, so as you can see, we had some fun out there with the Superior Family Dental. All right, I've got my good friend Sean Kane joining me today. Sean, welcome to We Are Soccer, my friend.
Thanks. Appreciate to be here. Been a big fan of what you've been doing, so happy to be on.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. I know you're on a lot of the socials there and chiming in, so I really appreciate what you do and how you follow along. But I know you love soccer. I know this is it's a passion for you, the soccer, the sport. Mm-hmm. So we'll chat about you and how you've progressed through soccer, but why don't we just jump into USA, the USA news that's come up over the past week, shall we?
Man, yes. I mean, first I'll just start off by saying what a game on Sunday to be able to watch all that, and to follow it up with 4-0 against Costa Rica and prove that it wasn't just a fluke.
Yep.
But I mean, really, just to finally kind of take that throne from Mexico again has been really nice.
So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I was not expecting the USA to come out and win 3-2 like that. I was just hoping for an entertaining game. I was hoping the USA would just stand up and just show up and show us that young exuberance that they have, and just make it an entertaining game. I really expected Mexico, with all the experience they have, to take this, but whoo, that did not happen, did it?
Well, I mean, it looked like it was going to when Mexico scored in the first minute after a turnover from our center back. So
yeah, that was an absolutely terrible turnover. 1 minute, 70 seconds into the game, Mexico scored to go up 1-0. Credit to McKenzie. Credit to the USA team. They didn't put their heads down. They came out and they played. And I think you were on the same page as me of what have we started with here as a starting lineup? We've got Tim Ream in the starting lineup, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, but against the Mexican national team, who's very quick and very crafty, you've got an elder statesman starting there. So that, and then giving up a goal in 70 seconds, it didn't look good. But yeah, they didn't put their heads down. They went right at it, right?
Right, and they kind of dominated the next, we'll say, 30 minutes. Obviously, scoring in the 26th or 27th off of the Reina rebound. But
right.
I think you bring up a good point with Tim Ream. He got embarrassed late in the game too for that second goal, which eventually made it a little bit more interesting, forcing us to.
That was
back.
a tactical switch, substitution by Mexico. They brought in Lainez 100%. To run at Tim Ream. I mean, you could see as soon as Lainez stepped on the field, they gave him the ball twice. The first time he went right around Tim Ream, crossed the ball, and nothing came of it. The second time, he ran right around Tim Ream a minute later and ball in the back of the net. Mm-hmm. I just don't see why we started him. And we started Tim Ream on the one side and DeAndre Jaelin on the other side. Jaelin held his own. Jaelin is not the player from 6, 7, 8 years ago. He is not that player anymore. But he did very well. I will give him credit. I did not think he was going to do what he did. He did a very good job. The center backs still have a lot of work to do. They're young. They're progressing. Defensively as a unit, not the best game. But again, you're playing against a team that's ranked 14th in the world and is quick and crafty. So you got to give a little bit of credit to that USA backline. They didn't play the greatest game, but they didn't do as poorly as a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, I think a couple head scratchers with maybe selection from Greg Berhalter. I don't understand why Tim Ream or DeAndre Jaelin are in the team at all. I'm a big proponent of just moving on from the 2018 squad that left us out of the World Cup. And I know Christian Pulisic was the only one technically on the roster that was a part of that game, but to me, Jaelin and Tim Ream are both players that come from that generation, really. And I love this idea of getting Gio Reyna in and all these new guys to just kind of wipe the slate clean and that's what I love.
Start anew and fresh.
Well, that's what I loved about this Mexico game. I haven't seen that rivalry and that passion from our side in years. Right. And it wasn't. And I don't really know what the League of Nations truly means for the CONCACAF in terms of competitive and official nature. But I mean, that was a World Cup qualifier. I mean, you talk about dos a cero and taking on Mexico in the World Cup to go to the quarterfinal in 2002. Like, that game goes up there, and it's not even a competitive game. It was a glorified friendly. So I loved the passion. I hope they bring that to every game, but to bring it against Mexico in a meaningless game, that was awesome for me.
Right. I agree. And I know, and everybody said this, right? It was kind of a meaningless game. The League of Nations kind of a made-up thing, but you could tell. I mean, both teams wanted it because it's a rivalry. So if there's never a friendly match, right, between these two nations. It doesn't happen. Both teams wanted it. Both teams were going at it. It was great to see. America did score most of their goals off set pieces, right? So corner kick came back off, header came back off the post. Gio Reyna right in the right spot to tie it up 1-1. Lainez puts Mexico up 2-1, and then McKinney rises up and finds it for the second goal. What an absolutely stunning goal.
Probably should have scored 5 minutes earlier.
Agreed.
10 minutes earlier.
Agreed.
So.
Just through some bad luck. The Mexican goalkeeper Ochoa was having an excellent game. Let's just we don't want to spend too much time on this. I know this game's 6 days old. I do want to clarify. The refereeing decisions were a little bit iffy. I will say it went a little bit iffy both ways though. So the penalties that happened in extra time, USA getting that first one, it was a 50-50 decision. And once the referee actually made the decision for a penalty, I said, great, okay, you made your mind. And then when the handball happened against the USA for a Mexican penalty, I said, well, you gave the one a 50-50 decision to the USA as a penalty. Mm-hmm. This is a 50-50 decision as well. It has to be a penalty. And sure enough, the referee, so I was happy with it.
I didn't complain. I mean, maybe if Ethan Horvath didn't come up huge, maybe we're having a different conversation.
Agreed.
So it didn't hurt the United States in the end. I would have given the Pulisic penalty and not given the handball. I thought the handball on Kellen Acosta was a very tough call. Sure. with the scenario. And watching the Euros yesterday, a very similar situation where the hand was extended. Yeah. It hit the hand.
Absolutely.
No reaction time. They didn't call it. But again, I think he lost control of the game at one point, the referee, from a managerial perspective.
He did.
Because when he was going through VAR both times, we can say it was U.S. players and Mexican national team players and coaches, but there was a lot of commotion going on in that technical box, and I just thought it was kind of embarrassing from the referee's standpoint that it got to that point.
I agree. Not the best performance by the referee. But before we move on, Zach Steffen goes down injured in the 68th minute, non-contact injury. I don't believe there's much news come out about it, but it looks to be just kind of a little tweak or a sprain to his knee, left knee. Ethan Horvath steps in. I got a little bit worried at this point because all of a sudden you've got a goalkeeper stepping in who's cold, who goalkeepers do not expect to step in to a game. I mean, they're all substitutions, all soccer players should be ready to go, right? All subs on that bench. He stepped in. Man, for me, I believe McKinney was the official man of the match, but for me, it was Horvath. And the penalty save against Guardiola, absolutely stunning. But he made 3 other saves that were just as good, and USA could have been sunk before extra time even started, right? So absolutely phenomenal from Ethan Horvath.
He looked like he'd been in there for the first 90 minutes. I think when Lainez scored, I apologize if I don't pronounce that correctly, but when he scored on Ream, you probably sat there and thought, well, hey, maybe Horvath could have been in a better position, or at least maybe assumed the ball to the near post, and you were like, that kind of worried. Yep. I think this cemented Horvath's spot in the United States national team probably till he retires. Yeah. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. I'll say it right now, what are we, 2021? So in 5 years, in 2026, we're going to have the best 2 tandem goalkeepers at the World Cup.
I agree,
so
100%. 100%. That could very well be the case. I would put money on that if there's something. Is there somewhere I can bet on that? Because I would bet money on that. So USA take that 3-2. What a stunning game. It has done a ton for USA Soccer. I cannot tell you the amount of tweets, the amount of Facebook posts I've seen on that game and moving forward. And it's really it was really fun to watch. What an entertaining game. Probably some of the best soccer I've watched. Not the best soccer I've watched, but the most entertaining game I've seen in a long time. That's what we were hoping the Champions League final would be. We knew it wasn't going to be. But, man, what a game. So fun. All right, so there were negatives that came out of that game. One, the refereeing, as we said, wasn't as great. The referee was a bit dicey, but it was dicey both ways. There was some fan violence after that goal that Pulisic, the penalty kick he scored, he ran over to the corner, joined by a bunch of his teammates, and things thrown on the field by the Mexican fans there. This is unacceptable. You can't throw things on the field like that. It's just one, I know Pulisic most likely, he should not have run over and did the shush, right? He shouldn't have done the shush to the fans. He shouldn't have done it. That's goading the fans. I get that. But you can't throw things on the field, guys. I mean, that is a terrible look. The team was celebrating. Gio Reyna, who'd been subbed off, was over there and was hit by what looked to be a full can of beer. Pretty much knocked him down. That hurt. Dare I say it, I saw this joke. I don't want to make a joke of it, but Gio Reyna kind of hit by his first can of beer there, right? But had his first beer, and it wasn't very good. But, again, I probably shouldn't joke about it, but not a good look for the Mexican fans. That, And then we've got chants from the fans. For the second game in a row, they're chanting discriminatory hate things, chants. And as a group, this is not a good look, all right? I think CONCACAF, I think FIFA has to step in. There has to be something done about this. This is 2021. It doesn't matter what race you are, what sexuality you are. It doesn't matter who you are. We are all equal, and you should be able to go to a game. Hell, you should be able to watch a game and not have to be subjected to that crap. The Mexican fans and the Mexican Federation need to have their hands slapped. This is not acceptable. It is terrible to see, and I can't stress it enough how just disgusting it is.
Yeah, it was, on a brighter side to it, it was nice to see the new FIFA and CONCACAF protocol of stopping the game and doing a PA announcement, and that was nice to see. Seemingly it worked from a TV perspective at least, but you're right, and this isn't the first time we've seen this with the Mexican national team and their supporters. So you're right. I think FIFA does need to step in. There's no place in the game for it. I credit everyone in soccer for trying to work it out and get it out of soccer, but we just need cooperation from the greater whole, across the board.
Racism, these hate chants, everything. This needs to leave our game. This sport's about equal. This is the world sport. People should be able to play it and watch it and enjoy it. So FIFA, please step in and do something about this. I don't want to be watching games and have to hear something like that. I don't want my kids to have to hear things like that or see things like that. So you're right. I do like the new protocol, I guess. When something like this happens, the game is stopped for a couple of minutes. There's an announcement made over the loudspeaker. But now, we've seen 2 games in a row. The previous game for Mexico where they beat Costa Rica, the same thing happened. Now that's 2 games in a row. Something's got to happen. So punishments need to be handed down there. Speaking of Costa Rica, the USA went on to play a game 3 days after that Nations League game, and they played Costa Rica. And this could have been a game where it was just a let off, a take the foot off the pedal. We'll play the B team players and see what happens. That didn't happen. They played the B team players. Sorry, I don't want to say B team players, but they played a lot of players who didn't play in that Nations League final against Mexico. And man, oh man, did they step up. Those guys are trying to prove that they should have been in the starting lineup for that first game against Mexico. And they came out and won 4-0 against Costa Rica. A dominant performance.
It was dominant. It was great to see depth, I think, was the biggest takeaway for me, is that we could throw out almost a brand new starting 11 and still have some sort of dominance on the pitch. Nice to see Reggie Cannon get in on the action with his first goal. And I think a lot of people overlook Aaron Johansson. He's been phenomenal. Hasn't scored
I'm
lately,
a big fan of Johansson.
But there was some moments of brilliance from him, and it's just great to see. We have such a phenomenal attack and so much depth in our attack. To be able to go from Christian Pulisic and then claim B team for Aaron Johansson, that's a phenomenal statement, and just excited to see these guys develop.
Unfortunately for Gio Reyna, he will be departing the national team and heading back to Dortmund in Germany for the Bundesliga. So the German teams have called a lot of their players back, and they do not want some of these players entering into what the U.S. will be playing as the Gold Cup this summer. They don't want him playing in that because they want to give him a little time to rest and then start preparing for the upcoming Bundesliga season. So unfortunately for Gio Reyna, this is going to be the last we see of him in the last games here. But as an 18-year-old, he stepped on the pitch, he scored a goal. I think he showed that he is really going to be a star to come for the next 10 years for the USA team. So it was really good to see.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Based on that USA-Mexico game, you could see the passion and the amount of fanfare that was around it. Shortly after that, the MLS has announced that the MLS All-Star game coming up in August is going to be an MLS All-Star team against a Liga MX All-Star team. So they're kind of building upon that. We'll have more news and more kind of discussion on that later in the next couple of weeks, but we'll keep our eyes on that. That's always fun to watch. Again, it'll be kind of a USA versus a Mexico, and the MLS is trying to kind of use that, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, I think it's probably stems from the CONCACAF Champions League and the success that has had and the rivalries that has bred. So, I'm excited for it. It'll be interesting to see. I've never been a big fan of MLS All-Star games because typically it's our MLS All-Stars going out and losing 8-0 to a European side. Yeah. So I've never kept up with it much, but, certainly if this is competitive at the very least, I'd be a little bit more interested in it.
Are you an MLS fan at all?
Yes, I think the MLS from a business perspective has a long way to go. I think it's foolish to compare the MLS to any European league. Right. But I think for what they're doing in America, it's an up-and-coming sport. There's a lot of big names investing in the MLS, which is great for it. Yep. And so I'm excited to see how it progresses and grows as soccer becomes bigger in the United States.
News is broken in the past week and a half or so that the MLS is starting a third division. What that's for, we don't know. If they're just trying to capitalize on the lower leagues of soccer, I doubt there's going to be a promotion and relegation in MLS. A lot of these owners have signed up knowing that no matter how poorly their team does, they will get a certain amount of money in their pocket. So the owners do not want promotion and relegation because as an owner and as a business owner, you want to see the money flow in. But we'll keep our eyes on that, the new third division that the MLS is proposing to build for them. All right, let's jump into some other world news right now. A lot of transfer rumors, a lot of managerial changes. We'll just kind of read off some of the headlines, put some thoughts to it, and then we're going to jump in and show you that interview with U.S. women's national team player and who is currently the most recent Herman Trophy Award winner. So look forward to that. We're going to jump into that in a couple of minutes, but first we'll do some world news here, brought to you by Tim Merritt with Ross Mortgage and our friends at Family Superior Dental. Thank you to both of our friends there who bring you this segment. All right, Conte to Spurs. We announced it last week. It was most likely going to happen. It didn't happen. It's off. What a surprise. Conte came out and said that money is not as important to him as the project. He's looking for nice projects and challenging projects, and it's not money that motivates him. To me, that's a little jab at Jose Mourinho. So Conte to Spurs, no more. Spurs, what are you doing? Well, up steps Paulo Fonseca. Who's Paulo Fonseca, you may ask? He looks to be heading to Spurs as their next manager for 2 years. He is a former manager at Roma, where Jose Mourinho just went to. So he coached at Roma for 2 years. And while at Roma, Paulo Fonseca fielded an ineligible player in the Coppa Italia. And then Roma were promptly kicked out of the Coppa Italia because you cannot do that. So, yes, that was a mistake, but a very silly mistake by a manager. You can't do silly things like that. But hey, you know what you can do? You can go coach Spurs. This seems like an absolute last resort for Daniel Levy and Spurs. You went through the list. You interviewed this person, Ten Hag. You interviewed Conte. You interviewed probably Lampard. You interviewed, I'm going to guess, Nuno Gomez. You interviewed everybody, and no one wanted to come and sign up for your team. So now you've gone for Paulo Fonseca. Good, great. To be honest, I don't think he's the greatest manager in the world, and I think you guys deserve each other. So good luck there. You'll finish 7th, 8th, 9th in the upcoming years. He'll probably sign, like I said, he's going to sign a 2-year contract, and then you'll probably fire him after a year and owe him a whole bunch of money. So good luck to you there. Other world news, David De Gea is very uncertain about his future at Man United. So as we know, this past season, he lost his starting place to Dean Henderson. The Spanish international only picked for 2 of the final 12 games for Man United. Not what he was hoping for. He's 30 years old, so as a goalkeeper, you don't hit your prime till you're about 30 to 34, so he's still right in the prime there. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He earns £375,000 a week, which is over $400,000. He earns over $400,000 a week, and he's your backup. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not come out and said what he plans on doing with with De Gea. I will tell you that the rumors are abound right now. Aston Villa have let Tom Heaton go, our former goalkeeper, and he looks like at the age of 35, coming off a knee injury, he's due to sign for United. So my guess is Tom Heaton signs for Man United, De Gea will be sold or just asked to leave. Mutual contract called off. We'll see what happens there. So interesting. Jadon Sancho to Man United. That is every week getting hotter and hotter as a topic here. Apparently the two clubs are about 20 million pounds apart. When you're talking about 120 million pound contract, let's say 120 million dollar contract, 20 million is not that big of a deal. So this will come down to some clauses. Goals, how many times he represents the club, if they win the Champions League, that type of stuff, and then there'll be a sell-on clause most likely. So that's definitely going to happen. I expect that to be announced probably right after the Euros, provided that Jadon Sancho stays healthy. Erling Haaland to Chelsea, that rumor is not going away. It has not been dismissed by Chelsea. It hasn't been dismissed by anybody. So that, when this rumor first broke a week and a half ago, I thought, nah, there's no way this could happen, but this one really could happen. So one to keep our eyes on. We'll see, maybe just behind the scenes things are being worked out there. I'd really love to see Erling Haaland stay at Dortmund. We'll see what happens. ESL punishments were handed down this week. Kind of it was like a secondary headline on the back page of a lot of places. So Premiership teams were fined 22 million pounds, about $25 million. They were fined, so they had to pay that to the FA. And then they were told if they do this again, if they try to break away again, or any other club tries to break away, they will be fined over $100 million and given a 30-point deduction no matter what league they're in. Those are some pretty good punishments. I wish the first punishment of over $20 million would have been more, $25 million. I wish it would have been a little bit more. Really, really slap them on the wrist hard, not just a light slap. But I do like moving forward that this announcement of, hey, you do this again, 30-point deduction and a £100 million fine. So I'm okay with that. Some other kind of strange news that's come out. Yesterday, Friday, the Spanish team, the Spain players and coaches were vaccinated by the Spanish army. This is terrible timing. They're due to play their first European game here, your Euro game here, in the next couple of days, and they waited till Friday? I want to make sure I read this correctly, or tell you this correctly, so I'm going to read it, so I apologize. The Spanish government ultimately authorized priority vaccinations for the footballers on Thursday. In Spain, if you're 40 and younger, you're not supposed to be vaccinated yet, as they're trying to get all the elder folks and the people who really need vaccines vaccinated. But the Spanish government authorized priority for the team, the Spanish national team, who will be playing in the Euros. Some local politicians have said that it's deplorable that Luis Enrique's team is getting preferential treatment over essential service workers such as shop attendants, delivery drivers, people in the health industry. And one politician stating, those that were at the forefront of the pandemic have been relegated by 11 men tapping a football. I can't argue with that. I honestly cannot argue with that. What I'm a little bewildered by is why it took so long. You've now vaccinated these players, which we know there could be some side effects from these vaccinations. They are due to play in a European game here in the next couple of days. I don't know, the timing seems a little off, but it is what it is. Why don't we jump in and talk about DCFC, our local team here, Detroit City FC. One of my favorite teams to go watch. I go watch almost every game. I was out last week at the men's game on Saturday. They drew 0-0 with Stumptown FC. The game got a little heated. Sean, were you able to watch the game at all?
I wasn't able to, but I do know that I'm pretty sure that DCFC is now fighting for championship, right? Or
yeah,
coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, they pretty much have the first part locked up. Detroit City FC, man, they've been on a run. They're undefeated. I think they're 8-0-2, 2 draws. Just they're playing phenomenal. Stumptown FC are not the greatest team in the world, but they did a real nice job of shutting down the Detroit City FC midfield, and that's where everything runs for Detroit City FC, through that midfield. One of my favorite players is Maxi Rodriguez. Yeah. Great player, comes back, gets the ball, looks so calm. He didn't have very much time on the ball. Stumptown FC did a real nice job of sitting back and clogging up that Detroit City FC midfield. But you are right. Detroit City FC fighting for a championship. They actually don't play for 3 weeks. There's another 2 weeks they've got off. The scheduling is kind of strange.
Yeah, I maybe avoid the Euros. I couldn't answer that.
That's a good call. Maybe they're all going to go home and sit at home with Coach Trevor James and watch the Euros and do some analysis. I do know they're out training. I do know they are not just sitting at home. These guys are top athletes here for Detroit City FC. Their next game for the men is at home to Chattanooga FC on June 26th. I will be there. I love watching Detroit City FC. Something that's really nice to see is starting back up now that COVID's kind of the rules are kind of becoming a little bit more lax here and things are opening up, is the march to the match. So all the supporters get together, they have a few cans of beer at the local fouling warehouse, and then they all march to the match. And it is so fun to be a part of. You ever done it?
I have as a younger version of myself. It was a lot of fun. It's just so cool to have a professional type level atmosphere of soccer in the Detroit area. That's something that I'm so happy that we have that opportunity. So
we also have a Detroit City FC women's team that started up last year. They played their first year under COVID rules with no fans. This year they've opened up, as you know, and they have fans at the games. They are now 4-1-0, 4 wins, 1 loss in the United Women's League there, USL. They won 10-0 last weekend. You heard that correctly. 10-0 against the Muskegon Risers. The next home game is tonight, June 12th. Get your tickets now. Get out to Keyworth. Get down. They're going to be doing a march to the match. Have a few beverages. Get out to that game. It is the skill level and the work that these ladies put in is phenomenal. I know you've seen a lot of the work they put in because some of them go to next level training with Aaron. I know you've met some of them, and it's a great skill level of soccer, isn't it?
Oh, it's phenomenal. And listen, I can speak to it from a Metro Detroit perspective. We have some of the best female soccer players in the country that come out of this area. So, and DCFC, the women's side, is probably the best of the best, the cream of the crop for this area. So if you have a daughter or you just enjoy watching both sides of the game, the women and the men's, DCFC women's side is a phenomenal time, and they're going to show you a good match as well.
Yep. So get out to that game tonight. Buy your tickets. I recommend you get online right now. Buy those tickets. Get out to that game. It should be a lot of fun. Go DCFC. Speaking of young talent, women's soccer players, as promised, I sat down this past week with U.S. women's national team player and Herman Trophy Award winner Jaelin Howell. I tell you, this young lady, this is the first time meeting her. I've seen clips and highlights of her. I've read some stuff about her. What a phenomenal young lady, down to earth, humble, just an awesome, awesome person. Alex, if you could, why don't we go ahead and show a little bit of that interview that we did this past week with Jaelin Howell. All right, welcome to We Are Soccer. Today we're here with a very special guest, U.S. Women's National Team player and Herman Trophy Award winner, Jaelin Howell. Jaelin, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. We are out here at Aaron Bird and Next Level Training. We kind of snagged you, pulled you off the field, so appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, of course.
It's pretty rough training out here. The weather, it's hot, guys.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I'm just drenched. I was out there doing fitness with Aaron, but we get working hard. It doesn't get much better than that. So
you're not from Michigan. You have no connection to Michigan. You're actually from Colorado, correct?
Yeah, originally I'm from Colorado. Grew up in Colorado. I played for Real Colorado. That's where Malpute played, Sophie Smith. I grew up with them both. Lindsey Grant's from Colorado, so it was a real, soccer hotbed, and that's kind of where I developed and got my training.
And you're here this week, correct, in Michigan specifically to train, right?
Yeah, I'm here all summer. Yep.
All summer?
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Wow. So have you been to Michigan before? Were you here last year?
I was here the past 2 years, just specifically for Aaron. Yep.
Aaron Bird and Next Level Training, guys. He brings in great players, and they keep coming back. Michigan is just an awesome place, right? I mean, the soccer level here is great. I'm sure you're going to go out to a couple of games, but it's a phenomenal place to be as well and just hang out.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Past couple of years, like I said, it's my third year here, and just getting to know the city and being around, it's been amazing. And it gets a little hot, not as hot as Florida, but it's good for my training, and I love being here.
So speaking of Florida, you are currently at Florida State University, correct?
Yep.
All right, and you'll be going into your senior year?
Yep, the fall will be my senior year and my last fall.
All right, and what attracted you to Florida State?
Oh gosh, a lot of things. First of all, being from Colorado, I wanted some warm weather, so I wanted to go to a coast, but Florida State, Mark Krikorian, and our coaching staff are just amazing, and I knew that just by talking with them a little bit and seeing their style of play. It's very possession-oriented if you watch us play. We play through our midfielders, we build the game, we swing it back and forth, and they treat us like pros, and that's ultimately where everyone wants to be next is the pros. So that's why I chose there. It's a very professional system, very professional coaching staff, and they've helped me more than you can know on the field, off the field, everything. So just super blessed to be there.
Excellent. And I believe it was in November you made your U.S. women's national team debut, correct? In She Believes Cup. How awesome was that?
Oh, it was amazing. I got called up in the Netherlands for a player who got COVID, and I was just excited to get the opportunity. I didn't know if I was going to get in the game or not. It was amazing to get my first cap. I was super nervous. Even for the 2 minutes I was in, I was freaking out. I got Julie Ertz to my left, Becky Sauerbrunn behind me. So it was a great experience. And just.
All right, as you can see, interview with Jaelin Howell, U.S. Women's National Team player, Herman Trophy Award winner. She is so awesome. I really want to thank her again for sitting down and taking the time this week. We interrupted her training there while she was with Aaron in Next Level Training. Jaelin flies in from Florida. She's from Colorado. She goes to Florida State University. She flies into Michigan, spends several weeks here to train exclusively with Aaron and Next Level Training. That's how good Aaron and Next Level Training is. They have someone of that nature flying in. So a big thank you to Aaron Bird and the Next Level Training group for hooking us up with that interview. Go ahead and watch the rest of the interview on the We Are Soccer social channels. It's on our Instagram, it's on our Twitter, it's on our YouTube, and it's on our Facebook page. You will get some tips and tricks from her. You'll learn a little bit more about Jaelin. Just an awesome human being. Sean, I know you know Jaelin. I mean, I've only met her the one time here, but I've seen her train, and man, just work.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to work with her with camps and through training for a couple years, and that speaks to her, like that interview. I think very humble, very hardworking. She comes in and she always is constantly the sole person that is putting head and toes effort above everybody else, and she's a great role model and a great person to look up to as a young female soccer player that's looking to grow their game. And
she was there, Jaelin was there with the Next Level Training group, and I think there was probably about a dozen other young ladies there, and all trying to get to that level that Jaelin is at. And I know you've helped Aaron run some of those sessions. The level of soccer players that he brings in, I know he doesn't like to mention it too often, but I don't think there's better soccer players in the country that he trains. He is by far the #1 trainer in the country.
Yeah, I'll let anyone try and prove that there's a better group, because you list off some of the schools that are there. I mean, Notre Dame, Stanford, Florida State. So Florida State, Stanford played each other in the national championship. We have North Carolina girls that come. So I mean, next level training is far and above the best third-party trainer in the United States, and that's shown by who comes in over the summer to get working.
And I know Aaron. I hope he doesn't. Mind. But one of the U.S. men's national team players who played in that Nations League Cup game against Mexico on Sunday actually does some training with Aaron and was swapping text messages right after that game with Aaron and the Next Level group. I don't know if Aaron wants me saying this, but it was a one Mr. Kellen Acosta. Yes, you heard that correctly. He has trained with Aaron in the Next Level group. So again, you're right. If someone questions Aaron and Next Level and the level that he can get people to help get people to, you can't question it.
Yeah, I think Kellen's been coming through for a few years now, and what people didn't realize about that game, Kellen went from playing the 6, the holding mid, to playing left back for the last 25 minutes. And that's a representation of the hard work that he puts in when he comes here in the summer, because he is adaptable and ready to go at whatever position he needs, because he comes here, works with Aaron, works on the technical side of the game, makes him a better player all around. Agreed.
Go ahead and watch the rest of that Jaelin Howell interview, and she tells you what's required to get to the level she's at. She gives some great tips to the kids and to the parents. It's at the latter part of that 10-minute interview with Jaelin Howell. So go ahead and watch that, kids and parents, and pass that along. And I say that because this weekend here in Michigan is tryout weekend for all youth soccer. So youth soccer segment brought to you by our friends, the Michigan Jaguars FC, one of the most fun, family-friendly environments for soccer you will ever find. My kids both involved with the Jaguars. I love the organization. I know a lot of the coaches. They have one thing that they try to push, and it's just be nice to the kids, train the kids properly, pass along those values, and they do what's best for their kids in the teams there. There's not a money-hungry organization like some of the other organizations that we know of out in the world. So Michigan Jaguars FC, check them out. Tryouts are this weekend for soccer here in Michigan. I have been through a lot of tryouts in my day. My son is going to be out there today trying out for a team. Sean, I know you've been to some tryouts in your life.
Way back in the day, yeah.
Way back in the day. I said way back in the day. Man, what are you, 20, 24, 25, 26 now? Jeez. So if you had some advice for the kids heading out to try out today, what would be 2 or 3 little tips you'd give to the kids heading out to try out?
Man, if you're walking out to the field, how are you going to set yourself apart from everybody else, right? And that's not, to me, that is not just being able to dribble through an entire team or to be able to dribble better than anyone else. Are you able to understand the game? Can you find the best pass that's available? Are you working harder than everyone else? And again, that might not just be on the field. Is there a cone that needs to be picked up? Set yourself apart so that a coach goes back in their notes at the end of the day and says, wow, I actually remember this kid from today because he or she did something completely different than everyone else, set themselves apart, worked harder, etc. So that's you want to be remembered, right? Yep. Make yourself memorable.
I love it. Those are great tips, kids. So get out there, try to be remembered, but don't have the pressure. Just play soccer. Have fun. Work hard. And what I like to say is, and you guys have probably heard me say this over the last couple of weeks, get the ball down on the ground. Get the ball at your feet. And again, you don't have to dribble with it through 11 players. Get the ball down quickly. Pass it. Move. And here's something that'll get you noticed on a soccer field, especially at tryouts. Communicating. Yelling. Not yelling, but talking to your players loudly and verbally. Let them know where you're at. Let them know there's a man on. Let them know where the pass should be. Always communicate. Coaches love players that can communicate. So get the ball down. Be confident on the ball. Knock the ball around, and don't stop moving. All right? Parents, trust me. All right? Your child does not have to make the A team. If they're good enough, they will find their way to that A team. But just be happy your kid's playing sports, all right? Your young boy, your young girl, son, daughter, just be happy they're out there playing. Enjoy them playing, all right?
I can touch to that. Listen, the if you're interested in the varsity team or the college scholarships, that stuff will come as you get older. But if you're a young youth soccer player, just right now it's about having fun and training the technical side of it. I don't want to do any more advertising that I can't do, but next level training is a great avenue for that. Working on your own is a great avenue for that. So, you know, the games, that stuff is going to come wherever you play, whether it's on the B team, A team, or whatever club. Work on your own, work on your foot skills, have your kids go out in the backyard, kick against the wall, go see Aaron at next level training. Do that stuff on the side, because that's what's going to make you become a next level soccer player.
Absolutely, 100% agree. We've got some videos on the We Are Soccer social channels. Go ahead and watch those. They're little tips on how to get better, how to be more confident on the ball, how to get a better first touch. That's our goal, to help you guys be better soccer players. All right, looks like the Euros, the second game is about to kick off shortly here, so we're going to have to head out. So I want to say a big thank you to Woodward Sports for hosting us as usual every Saturday morning here. Big thank you to Alex behind the scenes. Thank you, my friend. You did a lot of hard work for us today, a lot of the graphics. Really appreciate that. Thank you to our friends Detroit City FC, Michigan Jaguars FC, Tim Merritt with Ross Mortgage, Superior Family Dental, and Next Level Training with Aaron Bird. All great people, all good friends. Trust me, if you're in need of one of their services, go check them out. Do me a favor, go ahead and like Woodward Sports, go ahead and like We Are Soccer on all the social channels. Really appreciate it. And until next week, guys,